Ask away.
But whatever voice he talks in, Green is very cautious whenever we ask about the assault on Mary Alice. His case was on appeal, and his choice of words here would matter.
Something you said to Sam, we're not trying to get away with nothing. I mean, people that insanity defense, they spend an average 6-9 years in mental institution. What are we getting away with?
Would we hear a version of the defense that the judge wouldn't permit him to make in court at his trial? When we asked for details of the attack,
who can tell us about what happened?
William spoke up.
Nobody is going to talk to you about what happened.
But minutes later, William takes off his glasses and seems to slip into gentle Bill again. Even though William had clammed up about the assault, we hoped we could pry it out of Bill Green.
What do you want the judge and the court to know in a second trial, if you get it, about what happened to Mary Alice that day?
That I'm not a monster.
Do you remember knocking Mary Alice down?
No.
Do you remember taking her blouse and her bra off? Do you remember fondling her? Do you remember tying her up?
No.
If Bill Green can supposedly now remember what his other personalities say and do, why then the memory lapse about the assault? Mary Alice says it's because cocaine upset Bill Green's fragile personality system.
Do you remember doing coke that day?
No.
Is there anybody home who does remember that day? Can I talk to them about it?
I don't think they want to talk to you about it.
Bill, how do you feel about Mary Alice today? You like her, don't like her? Feel embarrassed about what happened, ashamed, what?
I feel very bad. I mean, because nobody seems to want to come out and talk about it.
Are you asking them if they will?
I'm hoping that they will.
Why is
I
it
grieve in my soul for what happened. And I would have never done that to Mary Alice. I want to tell her how sorry I am that it happened.
Now, watch those tears dry up as Sam the Protector suddenly surfaces to bail out Bill Green. Had someone finally stepped forward to talk about the attack?
Maybe somebody else remembers.
I don't think remembering is... I mean, what do you want to know?
Who took the coke that day?
William bought it. William started the ball rolling. And hopefully he'll come out and talk about that.
Here's a key question for your future and for your defense and what you want to happen to your case. If William bought the coke that day, Tyrone did it, and Tyrone attacked Mary Alice, your therapist, where was Bill Green?
Tyrone didn't do it.
Was he laying the blame for the attack on somebody else?
Where was Bill Green? That's the critical question. Because Bill Green is going to have to stand in a defendant's chair.
Oh, no, we all are. That's, you know, and that's what I got to live with, is I was the one that kind of got it, sparked it.
William.
Yeah. How nice of you to notice.
Hey, Gail. 4 Clarion Awards for Outstanding.
From our studios in New York, here again is Jane Pauley.
Returning to the incredible story of Bill Green, who was doing time for a sexual assault he says one of his alter egos committed. It was certainly one of the strangest interviews Dennis Murphy has ever done. Now he has the conclusion to our story.
Bill Green appealed for a new trial, and his former therapist, the victim of his sexual assault, is still on his side. Mary Alice hopes someday she'll be able to testify on his behalf.
Bill Green is a sexual predator.
That's what people say.
You're a victim of it.
I'm a victim of a sexual assault. To call him a predator, I can't go there.
If Mary Alice finally gets to tell her full version of the Bill Green riddle, she'll testify that Green wasn't accountable for the sexual assault because one of his evil characters was in control at the time.
That's the basis for Bill's would-be insanity defense. But here's a vexing and very real question before the courts. Should multiple personalities be held responsible for crimes committed by their other identities? As more patients are diagnosed with the disorder, the disagreements in legal circles will only get louder.
But in this case, did he know or did he not know?
Let me finish.
These two are close friends and book collaborators. Stephen Benke, a lawyer and clinical psychologist from Harvard, and Ellen Sachs, a law and psychiatry professor at the University of Southern California. Professional colleagues, but they disagree on what to do when multiples show up in criminal court.
There you go again.
Even they can't agree on a central question. Should the law treat multiple personalities as separate people? Is it possible that Tyrone or William is guilty of the assault on Mary Alice, but not Bill Green? Ellen Sachs says yes, the alter egos did it.
It's simply unfair to hold the innocent alters responsible for what the guilty one did. And our criminal justice system is committed to the principle that it is better to let 10 guilty people go free than to punish one innocent person.
Benke disagrees.
I just don't think that the criminal law should start splitting criminal defendants up into different people.
They also disagree on how to hold multiples accountable for their acts. Sachs says prison is not the solution.
Ellen, if I'm bleeding, robbed, beaten, I don't care whether the cops arrest Jekyll Hyde or Tyrone. I want them to put somebody in the slammer. I mean, how does the criminal justice system wrestle with this problem?
Well, what they do is they say that the criminal defendant is not guilty by reason of insanity, which doesn't mean he goes loose. It means he goes to a hospital and gets the treatment that he so desperately needs.
But Benke takes a harder line. Maybe it's hospital, or maybe it's prison.
I want to say, look, there are rules out there, and if you break those rules, you will be held responsible.
Differ as they do on the issues of who's accountable and how justice should be served. Both insist that multiples should be permitted to argue an insanity defense before a jury, something Bill Green wasn't permitted to do.
This is really not fair. These are individuals who've suffered, who have serious problems, and the system is simply re-traumatizing them by not allowing them to have their day in court.
So you both would overrule that Washington pretrial opinion?
Yes.
And Professor Sachs, who has researched multiples in the courts, says most of the precedent is on Bill Green's side. She says the multiple personality defense has been admitted in at least 45 cases in 24 states, including Washington state. Only a West Virginia court and Bill Green's trial judge have said no to the defense.
You want to run, don't you?
Sachs's research is hopeful news to Kathy Green, the former Kathy Chimenti. That's right. In 1995, after Bill's conviction, Kathy and Bill said, "I do," and told the dissenting voices inside and out to forever hold their peace.
You don't walk away from somebody that you love because they're going to have hard times. I mean, love isn't conditional.
Did your friends and family think you were nuts?
Yeah. My mom didn't attend the wedding or the reception.
It was a bittersweet wedding. Bill and Kathy got married in county jail, sharing their vows by phone with a glass partition preventing their first kiss as husband and wife. Later, the bride went solo to an outdoor reception. The groom was returned to his cell.
You knew he was going to the state penitentiary on a life term, and still you married him. He may never live in this house with you. Does any of that make sense?
He's not going to be there for the rest of his life. We have an appeal pending, and if the truth can be told, then he'll be home.
Kathy wasn't the only woman to have a jailhouse meeting with Bill Green. Mary Alice did too. She wanted answers about that assault that had changed her life forever.
How could you go into a room, even with guards, and sit down with this man again?
I had to. I had to do it for me. I had to face my fears.
Facing her fears meant facing Tyrone again. In that meeting with Bill Green, Tyrone, the personality she says attacked her, came out.
What did you say? What did he say?
I don't think I want to go into that.
That says a lot right there. It was a confrontation?
It was a confrontation. There was a lot of feelings that go into it. And if I go into it right now, I will start crying.
Did Tyrone show remorse?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
This is me talking to Sam.
In our interview with Bill Green, you met Sam, William, and even little Willie. But where was Tyrone? Well, through continued treatment with a different therapist, Bill says he's been able to discard or merge into Bill Green all but 8 of his 23 personalities. Tyrone is now gone, he says. Was it therapeutic progress or calculated convenience that Tyrone is now among the missing?
So Tyrone's not on the scene anymore?
No, he was just a little kid. I mean, everything he was about was little. He was just trying to be big.
Do you think Bill Green is a danger still?
No, I still believe, I believe through the whole trial, that if Bill's therapy could continue to resolution, that this is somebody that can make it out here.
Was that the end of Bill Green for you?
No. No, there'll never be an end to Bill Green for me.
Meanwhile, back in prison, Bill Green is left with his drawings. Some capture his fears of living the rest of his life behind bars in Walla Walla. And there's one wistful sketch that depicts his dream of freedom.
What's it like to be you? What do people need to know about being you?
You need to know that it's a real thing. You need to know that some human beings find themselves experiencing life a lot differently than a lot of other folks.
And when someone with your affliction steps over the line, commits a criminal act, what are the rest of us supposed to do about that person? We can feel sorry about them, but we also want them off the street.
I don't want to minimize the need for folks to have safety and to feel safe. But they also need to know what causes some of the problems and not just lock them up or sweep them under a rug or throw them away.
But at the end of it all, Green felt we had sandbagged him, focusing more on the faking issue than the illness itself.
Well, it's not so much what you said, but it's how you said it.
You mean
knowing
we got off the script, huh?
Yeah, kind of got off the script. This was an opportunity to have a case study of somebody that is being traumatized by the system.
Why is it not then?
I mean, you f***ed up. I mean, I really believe that. If it was something to pretend, it'd be a lot easier to pretend schizophrenia or something, you know, or something else. And that's part of the problem with having this affliction, or at least telling people about this affliction.
Exactly.
Because, you know, it's like, who am I talking to now?
Bill Green's appeal to the Washington State Supreme Court ended with the trial judge's decision being upheld. Now he's filed for a new trial in federal court.